Hey y'all.
Hey y'all.
We're excited to have you back with us to enjoy the chaos. And
So
today we
excited.
have a special guest. I know y'all have heard us talk about the Big Boss.
Yeah.
And
I'm
today
Big Boss.
we have Big Boss. That's right. We have
So
Tracy St.
excited.
Amant with us today, who is an expert chaos coordinator.
Oh, I love that title.
Yes.
It's a great way to put
I
it.
think I'm going to add that to my resume.
That's what we should put you a plaque on the front of your desk that says chaos coordinator.
I think I want
right.
to sign like this.
Oh, yes.
Oh, a light sign. Yes.
Yes.
It says chaos coordinator.
If I meant
All
to.
right. But before we get into jumping into the questions that we
That's
have for Tracy, today we are trying an apple pie martini. And I failed and forgot the martini glasses, so we're having them out of the wine glasses. But it is Bailey's, salted caramel vodka, and apple cider.
Yum.
And we may have cheated and already taken a sip.
I was about to say, you can already tell.
Yeah, you can see
that
the lipstick
we've
on
cheated
there.
a little.
And it legit tastes like apple pie.
It does.
Can I
taste like
vote?
apple pie.
Can I vote first?
Sure.
I want to vote first. It is absolutely a 6. Like it is
Oh,
so
okay.
good.
And that's above our
Yes,
scale.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
I know, right? I know.
I
but
love
it is
it.
so good. This is
Yes.
definitely going to be my drink of choice for the fall.
It's
Oh.
delicious. And
Yeah.
I might be putting apple pie Baileys in my coffee every morning.
We will have to check you at the door, Sarah.
That's right. I never had Baileys before today, and now I know what all the hype is about.
I have not either. Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
I've never had
Look at you
Bailey's.
people. Oh my goodness.
I've never had Bailey's.
Well, you don't really mix
Yes,
Baileys with red
yes.
wine, which you know is my drink of
or
choice.
vodka.
Okay.
Or yes, you could.
Well, you could.
You
We
could.
just
Technically,
did.
we just did.
Yeah, we just
See,
did.
I just was
Okay.
thinking the whole morning drink coffee thing, and typically we're working.
Yes,
Can't
we
always
are.
have that.
We are.
That's what they say.
This is
great.
All right. So, Tracy,
Yes.
I have known you more than 10 years.
Yes.
We met at an HR club.
We did.
At the coolest spot in town,
Ooh,
the HR
yes.
club. And how long have you known April?
Oh my gosh. So April and I worked together at our previous employer.
That's right. That's right.
She was there quite a bit longer than me, but I was there for 12 years. So at
12
least
years,
that,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And I've
okay.
been
That
gone
was
from there
12
for
years.
4.
That's right.
So about 16 years.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
Okay, nice.
That's
Oh, wow.
right.
Mhm.
That's
And
right.
the reason that I met Sarah, she may not even know this, is people thought I was Sarah. They would come up and
Oh.
start conversation
I don't know this.
And,
This is a fun fact.
either.
about her. They would just start talking about stuff that I had no idea about. And I'm like,
Was it drama?
do I know? No, typically it was about your job. I'm like, or the experience that they had with your job. And I'm like, I think you think I'm somebody I'm not.
I love that.
I do too.
I do.
I was like, I have to meet Sarah Kurt. I mean, I feel like I know her already because I
Okay,
am her.
because you are her.
Right, I am her.
Who
So,
would have known?
Which, I mean, I don't want to say it's a compliment, but
it is a compliment because you're what 10 years
yeah, that's what I was going to say. So one of us is doing it right.
You're 10 years
exactly
older.
right.
I don't know which. Either I look 10 years older or you look 10 years younger.
I love it.
I'm going to go home and unpack that a little
That's
bit.
right.
But
Yeah, it was a compliment. It was a compliment. I'm gonna take it because it's
Yes.
that's right. Skincare.
That's funny. I think it's blondes. All blondes look alike.
I do.
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
Me and April were taking a picture together the other weekend, and
Yes.
somebody asked us if we were twins.
Y'all do look alike.
Stop. They were like, "Are y'all twins?" I was like, "Twins, maybe sisters, but you know,
Yeah.
but
I'm
twins."
only
That's the first one. So
2 feet taller than she is, but
Yeah.
sure, we're twins.
yes,
Okay.
did not get
So
right.
you were in the corporate world
That's right.
Yes,
for a long
I
time.
was.
That's right.
And then what happened?
I was very similar to you. I was leading a large organization in an HR executive role. And to be completely transparent, because that's what we do. That's my
That's right.
word. You'll hear me say it 100 times.
Mm-hmm.
I was exhausted and I was burnt out and just felt like there had to be more to life than missing out on my family life basically. And I lost my father unexpectedly. Now he was ill. He'd been clinically and he'd just been sick for a very long time and had kidney disease, and we had taken care of him. And so we lost him one day unexpectedly. And I remember thinking to myself, there's just, who's going to take care of my mom?
Mm-hmm.
I think at the end of the day, that's what it was about, was I had to figure out how am I going to balance. And, for that to be your first thought
Right.
is how am I going to balance this crazy work life that I have with taking care of my grieving mother. That's, what is that? I mean,
gives
who
me
is
chills.
that? Like, what kind of daughter are you? And so, he passed away in April, and by June I was pretty much checked out because you're grieving, and you're watching your mother grieve and your whole family, and it was just very traumatic. So as death is,
right.
All right. So
and you have these jobs that give you 3 days.
Right. Oh my goodness, like three
days, literally 3 days.
I think I got the 3 days.
Probably not.
Because you're connected, right, by your phone and all the things. And people mean well,
right?
But it was just a lot. There was a lot going on. So we took a family vacation to the mountains, and I had already been having some dialogue with my supervisor at my then job that I just could not do anymore.
Right.
Like I needed help, and please help me. And I will never forget his response. Basically, in that meeting on the way out the door, he said, "You're not going to get any help. You're doing it, and you're doing a good job, and you just need to have some faith in yourself."
Wow.
And the look on my face, I know he thought, I'm going to throat punch you right this minute, but I did not. I composed myself, and I said, well, I will ask you to reconsider that, and I will be back at the end of the week. And when I come back, one of two things is going to happen. I'm going to either give my notice or I'm going to place an ad for some help.
Yeah.
And so I was true to my word. It was the most heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching decision probably I'd ever made. My spouse at the time, because when you're in that executive role, you pretty much are the moneymaker, know.
Right.
And I remember me going on that vacation, and my mom went with us, and I remember on the drive down me telling him I'm going to make a career change, and he's like, "What are you going to do?" I have no idea, but it's not going to be this. So just hold on.
That's right.
But the key, the changer for me, the game changer, and we use that word all the time in the Asa family, the game changer for me was I was sitting out on the porch with my mom, and I said, I want to make a change, and I want to do something different. And her response was not, have you lost your mind? What are you thinking? Her response to me was, let's go. I'm ready. She was always all in. Everything my sister and I ever did, we were so gifted to have her as a mom and an advocate. It didn't matter.
Right.
I'm going to jump off the roof. Great, let's go. She was that mom.
I'll come too.
Let's do it together. When do we start? And that's what she said. When do we start?
Yeah.
And we did. We started on that trip. I said, I have a kind of an idea about what I want to do. And we had some not so good experiences with our healthcare providers, and people in the healthcare world. They know, you have fabulous caregivers, and then you have some that you really kind of struggle with.
Right.
Yes,
and so my sister's a nurse by trade, and she and I had some really long, discussions about what does that look like. So what we realized is the nurses that were coming into the office, or my dad's room, the ones that were disengaged or non-connecting with him, standoffish, there was a commonality, and that commonality was that they were agency nurses. Now, let me just pause there and tell you that is not consistent across the board. I have met and worked with some fantastic agency nurses, but I'm very thankful for that experience because it really gave us the initiative to start asking some questions. Because remember, I worked at that healthcare facility. I was hiring the nurses that were coming in. I was responsible for them being there. And so, you start asking questions like, I know that you don't wake up in the morning to be a complete bitch. So what is it that happened between the time you got out of your vehicle in the morning and the time you got in this car? And, the answers were pretty transparent. They were, I don't have any support here. My agency, last time I talked to them was 6 weeks ago when they dropped me off in this godforsaken, South Georgia place. I have no idea where I am. I have the worst patients. I have the heaviest patient load. None of the other nurses want to help me because they feel like I'm the enemy. And it was just on and on. It was consistent. So we said, we can do this better. We can do it better. And as a result of that, ASA Healthcare Solutions was developed. ASA Staffing, as we refer to it. So that's how we came about. That's it. That's how we did it.
And then you left your corporate job.
I did.
Dove into that.
I did.
Head first.
Like, I call it suicide jump. Like, there was no press pause. There was very little, learning opportunity. Thank heavens I was blessed with great friends that had a lot of faith in me. I did not have faith in myself, but they had faith in me, and my mom had faith in me, and my honey had faith in me, and so we did it. We just went in for it. And Mandy, who was the director of nursing at the time, she and I had some conversations at least daily, that, you know what, if this does not work, we are marketable. And we got that because my son, when I told him, we're going to start this business, he's like, okay, sure. Now he's 15 probably at the time. And I was like, you don't have any concerns? No, you're marketable. That's exactly what he said. Okay. And I was like, well, that's some pretty good words of wisdom from a teenager. So, okay, let's go. So there we went. And we rock on for about, 4 years or so. And then just to kind of add to my chaos, my mom passed away unexpectedly. And so my sister and I inherited 2 businesses that my parents owned. Mm-hmm. And we just had never really been involved with those businesses.
Total different book of business to healthcare.
It's a small lending company. We have 2 offices. Yeah. And heavens, thank goodness, we have the most wonderful leadership in both of those offices. One office, we refer to her as Gigi, but she's been there literally for 48 years. She came the same month that my sister was born, and that's a true story.
That's amazing.
And she is still there. And then I have another leader in the other office named Christy. She's fantastic, and she actually helps me across all of our businesses. And she runs our Tifton office, and she's been there probably 20 years, maybe even longer. So the offices are very stable and, kind of have a life of their own, and they're really good, really strong. I don't have to worry like I do with the others, until COVID hit. Mm-hmm. And then that was a different world trying to maneuver that. Whereas our staffing office was booming, overwhelmed with requests. Our lending office is pretty much just shut down.
Right.
So we had to maneuver our way through that. So then as that didn't have enough to do, I decided, and I still remember the day I came and told my little tribe, I think we're going to open another business. And they're like, really? And I said, yes. Yeah. So we live in a very small, rural, underserved medical community in Southwest Georgia. And the primary care clinic in my home had closed unexpectedly. So I thought, why not? We don't have anything else to do. Let us open back up this clinic. And so then Asa Health and Wellness was born. And then right after that, about 5 or 6 months later, we decided we need a way to support Asa Health and Wellness. So we opened Asa Med Spa. So here we are.
Here you are.
How many is that? 5 businesses
if anybody was counting,
That's 5. That's 5 business lines.
5 businesses.
And I guess across the 5 businesses, you have what? There's 20 of us.
There's probably maybe 22.
22.
Yeah.
Probably.
All female.
Except for Danny.
Except for Danny.
Except sweet Danny.
Except for sweet Danny.
Yep, that's it. Oh, yep.
So that's a lot of personalities.
A lot. Y'all
How do you do that?
How
do you do that?
How do you? With a lot of grace.
Big boss. How do you be the big boss?
A lot of grace. A lot of grace. A lot of patience. Some days I feel like I'm in the Mean Girls Club, and then some days I feel like I'm at a big old gigantic sleepover. This is true story. My primary provider at my clinic refers to us as the sorority. And you know what? I was in a sorority, so there's a lot of truth to that. Okay. There's a lot of personalities. There's a lot of drama. There's a lot of extraness. In fact, we do have an extra award that we give out.
That is so
now,
true.
Primarily, it stays in one person's office.
Yeah, it does. Poor Kelly.
She knows who she is. She's
poor Kelly. It's always in Kelly's office. But I'll tell you, sidebar, Kelly embraces her extraness.
She does. Oh,
110%.
And it really comes for food.
Yeah.
Because when we order lunch, she's the one that always has to call it in because she literally will be like, so I want guacamole, but I want you to separate the onion, the cilantro, the tomato, the guacamole, the avocado. And then when she puts it on her chip, it's like 1 piece of cilantro, 2 pieces of onion, half a piece of tomato. So she does embrace it at least.
She does.
But she does get the extra award, bless her little heart.
Yeah. But you know what I've realized is that gift, each individual gift makes that person very unique to me. And so with Kelly, she's my credentialing person. Now, she
Yeah.
also does the recruitment, but that's another thing. If you work for the sisterhood, you've got to be,
Multiple
cross-functional.
That's right. That's right.
And so she, without a hesitation, I'll do that for you. And her extraness has perfected that. Because with me, I'd be like, just sign us up. And she's like, no. No. I was on a conference call with her Friday. We were talking to a provider, a payer, and she's like, okay, I need you to check this box and this box and this box. And I'm like, what? Hurry. And so her extraness helps me make sure that all of those check boxes are there.
Yes.
Tatina is my other very extra person. She has the gift of gab.
100%.
And
100%.
I love her. I've known her almost my entire life, but it makes her phenomenal at what she does.
Ooh,
Right?
yes.
She makes her
She
phenomenal.
does, yes.
Yes,
She
she's great
connects
at
with
it.
people,
Mhm.
for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
She's our little mama.
That's exactly right.
And then I have Sarah. Sarah
Sweet.
has.
Would you like me to
Sarah.
leave the room?
Face her face, Sarah. No. And Sarah is probably one of my favorites because and I don't say that just because she's sitting here with me. But if it were not for Sarah, the rest of the office would just be a mug. Like she keeps that structure in place. She loves them. She's like the mom.
Yeah.
Like she keeps everybody kind of in line.
Yep.
I say kinda, but she does. She's she's got that face.
She does.
That
face.
face, and you're like, okay, mom. No. I didn't want to ask that.
Just kidding. It was
teasing,
just a joke. It
teasing.
was a joke.
And then there's April, and April is that soft, gentle, silly, just warmth. She's going to engage with you, and so it's just a perfect mixture. Right
April
now.
needs pom poms all the time.
Yeah.
So funny. I
April is
wasn't a
like the cheerleader. Yes,
And
April
Sarah's
needs
like, let
pom-poms.
me tell you the reality of that. And in my case, I desperately need that. Desperately need that.
So we went on a retreat recently.
We did. Yeah.
When we went to North Georgia,
Mhm.
That's right.
and you led an exercise with us about finding our purpose.
Yeah.
Oh,
Why do you find that to be important, other than just come to work and do your job?
yeah.
Well, I think it's because I have to remind myself of that purpose every day.
Yeah. That's
So I'm
right.
struggling.
With
I'm real. I'm real. I would like to tell you that my life is just fabulous. And I have all these businesses. And really, it's a complete shit show 90% of the time. It's just, you have to remember every day what your purpose is.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to figure that out. We're reading that book, and that lady, what she said was so real to me. It's like, you're talking to my soul. She's like, I didn't wake up in the second grade and think this is my purpose in life. I have no idea what my purpose in life is. My purpose in life is to get through the day and not choke out my 20-year-old son. That is my purpose in life.
Yes. Yes.
And so for me, that purpose, I had to really focus in on that, think about that, because it keeps me going. It's like the days are tough,
Right.
Especially in times where you have different personalities, you have different businesses, and then you're going to add your clients on top of that and your disappointments. And you have to remember, why am I doing this? And for me, that purpose had to change, because at one point my purpose was to provide, clothing and a roof and food for my child.
Right.
I was a single mom, and I had to figure that out. And then my sweet angel, he moved. And y'all talked about that in your last, episode, is you had to refine yourself. And y'all, for me, it was shock. Like it really took a moment for me to figure out what a purpose is. And so my purpose in life is not to get up and have 5 businesses that go nuts. So, that's not the purpose for me. Is to figure out what excites me, and what drives that purpose is to look around the room at everybody in this room and think, what I do every day, the reason I get out of bed every day contributes a little bit to their life. It allows them to not be dependent on a man. Not that that's not a good thing, but it really helps that with that independence. It helps you, get excited when you can get in your car, or, when you can get to go to the beach with your sister.
Yes.
Those are the things that really excite me. That I can help you find independence, financial independence, but that confidence too, that you can balance. You can be successful. You can be an executive and a leader. You can be a mom. You can be a daughter, a caregiver. You can be all those things. You can be a CrossFitter if you want to.
But
Sarah, it's all the things. You can do that. You can start a podcast.
That's
You can start a
Start a
podcast.
podcast. So I'm so excited for
So
you
I
guys.
have some friends that they're currently feeling like they're in a rut with their job, and I tried to talk to them about that, and then like, well, and their response to me is, well, what I'm doing is not important.
Oh.
So do you feel like finding your purpose or defining what your purpose is, that you could bring that to any career? So there are going to be
Right.
people that have the widgets and gadgets job. That's mundane. That's what they do.
Yeah.
But how do you connect that with your purpose?
So I think in that case, for me, I was there, right? I got to that space in my old position where I really struggled with, I felt like I was adding value, but the truth is I was not. I was running from one meeting to another meeting to another meeting. I was offering no support for my team. I was no support at home. I mean, I was just kind of stuck.
Yeah.
And so I had to make a change, and that was very difficult. And I know everybody can't do that. But I also had to realize I can't tie my purpose with my career.
Oh yeah.
Right. So you got to figure out, because literally my whole life changed. My son moved out. My father had passed away. You know, I had all of this stuff that I had kind of built myself and defined myself around. I was a daughter and I was a mom. Well, all of a sudden, I'm still those things to some degree, but not like I was. And so finding that purpose outside of my career was very important and hard because I had never done that. Because the women leader in my life, I had many. Those women had tied their purpose with their career. Like they just clung to it. And I had to realize that's not always the case. So in your case with your friends or like that, I think you would just encourage them to say a career is a way that you provide for yourself, but it doesn't have to be the purpose for you.
I did like that. I think what did Karen say? That she was family driven, career supported.
Yes, I heard that and I love that.
Yes.
Yes,
And
I
that
do
has
very
stuck out with me for
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
For sure. And we're lucky, and we've talked about this on a podcast or on one of the episodes before, that we're in a career that helps us develop our purpose, you know, encourages us to find it and cultivate it.
That's right.
You
That's
know,
exactly right.
so I think we're the unicorn job when it comes to that.
And I hate that.
With the big boss.
I hate that. I want that not to be that way. You know, I want everybody to realize it, especially in today's world. I got asked last week to participate in a talk that's coming up, and they look at us from the outside in and they think we figured it out. And what I want to say is, no, we figure it out every day. But in this post-COVID world, I think you have to think about it differently. You have to, think about flexibility and allowing that flexibility. And not all of our business can allow that. Like
That's
our
right.
clinic, for example, I have to have somebody manning that front desk.
Yeah, that's right.
Our hours of operation are this. But the way that we show flexibility is have two people that are cross-trained. And if one needs to go and be at the doctor's office, then the other one comes up and fills that spot. So if one just needs to leave early, that's that flexibility. Sometimes that only just a little bit of flexibility will go a long way.
Ooh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Especially,
Yes.
and
That's so
I'm, I'm more prone to women because that's who I'm surrounded by. But men are the same way.
Yes.
Men today, you guys know. I mean, your husbands
Yeah.
are taking active parts in your children's
Yeah.
lives, and they need that flexibility too.
They do.
So
Yeah.
I think just having that flexibility makes a big difference too.
Okay, so you're a boy mom.
Yes, I am a boy mom. So for those of you that know me, I'm very much a girly girl. Like I can not, and I remember, you're doing your sonogram picture and it's like, oh, look, there's a little boy. I'm like, no, I think we're mistaken. Definitely not a boy in there. Because I didn't have any brothers. I had my sister, it was just two of us. And so in this world came a little Chase, looking just like his daddy. And
I think he looks just like you.
Well, as he's gotten
Yes,
older,
Sarah.
it's funny because if you
Yes.
see him with his dad, it looks like his dad. If you see him with me, he looks like me. But all I've ever cared about is that he acts like me. And so his dad and I separated when he was very young, and he was actually right at 2. And so it's just me and him. It was me and him for a long time. And I was, again, very blessed to have a fantastic support system and community that kind of came in and embraced both of us. Have a strong church family. And then my parents were very involved in his life. And when I tell you I'm boy mom, I mean, I am a shotgun.
Yes.
He did competitive shotgun. We tried every sport there was. And, you just didn't see him get excited and have the passion until we were introduced to competitive shotgun.
Okay.
And so that was our world for a very long time. And then in the 8th grade, he gave me a year. He said, Mom, I'm going to move and do high school with my dad. And I thought, no, you'll change your mind.
Yeah.
Because if not, I'm going to have a nervous breakdown and not make it through this life. And he did not change his mind. And so, you're devastated.
Right.
You start thinking all the things. Well, why, I'm a terrible mom. What are people going to think? You don't want to live with us. And we did not have a terrible home life. By any means, he had a great home life. But he knew in his heart of heart that time was very special for him and his dad. And also think he needed that as a teenage boy.
Sure.
That guidance that I cannot talk to him about certain things. He didn't want to talk to me about certain things. Obviously puberty and girls and all this stuff.
Oh, I find that terrifying.
Tracy,
it is terrifying.
I really think that speaks to your, how you raised him as a boy. Just for him, that was in the 8th grade.
It was.
Wow, how adult of him to say, okay, I need some time with my dad, even though it was going to break my mom's heart, probably.
Right, yes.
But
we cried
that.
and cried and cried. My mom and I cried, and we did a lot of trips. He actually moved to South Carolina, which was about a 4.5-hour trip. And but he found his village there, and that was my fear. Is that you don't have a village there? It's a much bigger town. It's a much bigger school. He left a school of about 600 students to go to a class of about 600 students.
Okay.
Completely different worlds. Completely. And but he found the love of lacrosse. And so then I became a lacrosse mom.
Okay.
So yes, he loved that.
Which we don't have in Southwest Georgia.
We do not. I did not even know what it was.
So that's the whole thing.
That's a beast of a sport.
I only know from friends.
Wow.
Most of my education is from a Friends episode.
We learn everything from Friends. Yes.
Well, in all transparency, I still don't understand it.
Sure.
I remember the first time I went to a game, they had this thing called you get to check them, and checking means, in other words, you get to beat them with a stick.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, what in the world? Is
Maybe I
out
should play
there?
lacrosse.
Get out some frustration.
That's right.
And he loved it. He loved it. And, then we entered to the world of girlfriends.
Yes.
And then that was different.
Yes.
That you have to share.
I'm going to need a class. I need a class.
Yes,
I can't think about it.
Yeah. No, nothing prepares you.
I can't think about it.
No class would even prepare you.
No.
Thankfully, Chase is a very reserved child. He has a very quirky personality. It's very snarky. And
wink, wink.
But I don't know how that goes over well so much in the dating world. But he met his match. I went up his senior year, and he had met this cute little sassy blonde, and I took one look at her and thought, well, in the meantime, Charles's dad had sent me a text and said, your son is dating you.
Oh my goodness.
Need to prepare yourself. You need to prepare yourself. And so when I met her name is Jashylan. We call her Jash. Blonde hair, blue eyed, just as sassy, and she keeps him in check. And there was this peace.
Okay.
There was this peace.
Yes.
And then a lot of prayer that you're 18 and I don't want you to get married at 18.
Right.
Yes.
So a lot of prayer goes into that, as you do all, relationships.
Right.
And then the phone call came that he had enlisted, and I thought his pathway was into the Navy. But to my surprise, he said, I enlisted, and it's not the Navy. I've actually enlisted in the United States Marines.
Okay.
And so once you digest that,
So we go in first. We do all the things. Like we're the front line. Like we're the ones. Like here I am. Yes.
So then my HR hat comes on. What are you going to do with that after you get out of the... Because in my mind, the Marines are the infantry. They're the tough guys. They're not my sweet Chase. What do you mean? Who's going to be there to take care of you?
Right. Who's going to make sure you have water and carry your backpack because it's going to get really heavy?
This will not work.
It's a shock. It is a true shock. But he did it. He left for basic. You guys know you were with me on that path. And he left right before the holidays last year. So actually 1 year this month. And he did complete boot camp and came out a completely different child. Like when they tell you that they go in one person and come out another, that is no joke. Like
what's the biggest difference?
Yeah, tell us.
He's still very smart assy at times, but he's a lot more reserved, respectful.
Okay.
You see a sense of, he's always had a sense of cockiness about him. That's downgraded greatly.
Okay.
And I remember, so my father was a Marine and his dad is a Marine. And I remember him going in and saying, his dad's encouraging him, be the top of the class because that's where the reward is.
Sure.
My dad, on the other hand, I remember growing up and, Chase talking about it. And he said, the only way I got through boot camp was I kept my head down and my mouth shut. And you need to remember that.
Ooh.
And so when his dad was encouraging him, I was like on the back end, you might need to think about that a little bit more.
Right.
And he came out a completely different child.
How many tattoos did he go in with?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I love the story. And really, I love Tracy telling us the story. Like in the office, I love the story.
So to understand the full story, you have to understand that Chase is this blonde hair, blue eyed, preppy kid, right?
Yes.
Went in wearing Vans, khakis and Vans. That was his attire. I didn't really buy a lot of other clothes,
Right.
And came out this man child that I have no idea who he is. And so he left, he went in with actually 3 hidden tattoos. Like he had 3, but they were covered. You could cover them. And, it is, he's 18. He bought them. I didn't pay for them. I have nothing against body art. I do not. In fact, I have a tattoo myself, but again, covered and, restrained. And I told him when you get them, they're addictive. So you need to understand you got to have some type of reserve with them.
Yeah.
So fast forward, he goes to California to training.
Yeah.
And he's out there unsupervised. And every Sunday, we typically have a call. Well, some Sundays, those calls were delayed. And I did not realize what was happening at the time because when we're FaceTiming, I'm so happy to see him, and talk to him. And then I realized, what's on your arm? And he's like, huh? Like, here. Connection?
Yeah. I'm going through a tunnel.
I don't know what you just said. I have connection. And so before I knew it, he had an entire sleeve. And, I just had to, I'm like, who's in charge out there? Okay.
Who's in charge?
I need to speak I need to speak to that person,
please. I need to speak to your officer in charge. Who is in charge of you out there? Because clearly nobody is in charge. Do they even know you left base? I mean,
Right. There's probably a tattoo parlor on base.
Probably.
Well, he had to actually, the one he liked was off base. So he had to leave base and come back in. Okay. But it's real. I mean, it is real. I was like, can I wipe it off? Or can you cover it up? Or, but no, it's a full-blown sleeve.
It's a trick.
It's a sleeve. And what's so funny about it is he'll get one and then he'll try to attach a sentimental meaning.
Sure.
So,
obviously.
The first 2 he got, well, actually, it was the second 2. He got a bluebird and a redbird for my mother and my dad. And
how can he be mad at that?
Says Mom Mac and Mac Mac.
How can he be mad at that?
How can he be mad? I'm like,
say again what they were called.
Mom Mac is the redbird because she's, the Holy Grace and the cardinal, and she's gonna visit you. And then there's the bluebird, who is my dad. Who, if you don't know bluebirds, they're very aggressive and annoying.
Yes.
And so he always said, "I will never come back as a cardinal. I'll come back as a bluebird."
Ooh, I love that.
So it's Mac Mac on one side and Mom Mac on the other. Well, this time it's the whole sleeve. And the first one he got is a compass, and it has the coordinates to my home. And
Tracy, I didn't know that.
So he tries
Well, I'm not mad at that anymore. Because you can always go home.
Yeah, but then he compliments it with 3 sharks on his arm. So I'm like, how do you? But they're sharks he drew. And so you're like, okay, just
I feel like that will be Barrett Kirk one day. So, I feel like he'll get some sharks. He's so in love with the ocean, and
those are some detailed sharks.
They are.
I mean, they are really detailed, Tracy. They're like, it's like the sharks are coming out of the arm. It's amazing.
It's terrible to see that on your child. It'd be beautiful on somebody else, but this is sweet, preppy.
Yes,
blonde hair, blue eyed boy.
Khakis and
that you maybe just can't call preppy anymore.
No,
maybe he's just still sweet blonde hair, blue eyed, but maybe he's just not. Maybe he's super edgy now.
Right. Well, so here's what I had to tell myself: it does not matter. And we learned this growing up, but there's no truth to it. There's nothing on the outside. Everything is in the inside.
Yes.
And as long as his heart is good, and he does, I'm very blessed that he's a good kid. He's a good child. Never gave us a minute's trouble, which I know we're very fortunate for that. But can we just kind of calm down on the tattoos?
But I am 40 and want to be a tattoo person. Like I have one. I have a little wave on my ankle, and I got that after reading the Rachel Hollis book, Girl Wash Your Face.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, because there's something that she talks about in there, and she's like empowerment, and I decided I was going to do this, and I was going to be independent, and I was like, yes, me too, Rachel. But now her whole empire is like shattered and whatever, but I still have, but she still inspired me to get my tattoo.
Yes.
And I got a little wave because I'm a beach person, and I feel like I'm the best version of myself at the beach. So I got a little wave so I could carry that with me wherever I am. It's not translated into my everyday life, as you know, as my supervisor. But I do try. But there's so many things that I want to get as a tattoo. Like I want a little bumblebee because I call Barrett B. I want my dad, because my dad has the most unique, sharp handwriting. Like he cannot write with a pencil without breaking it. Like it's jagged edges. It is like the coolest handwriting. So I want my dad to write something and have that. My mom loves little birds. So I want to get 3 birds because I have 3 siblings. So all of a sudden I'm going to be like Miley Cyrus and I'm going to be covered in tattoos.
Get it, girl.
So
Get it, girl.
And you have one.
I do.
April.
I have one. Yeah, but mine has no sort of special meaning, and it's one of those 18-year-old moments. I went in and I was super excited and got a 4-leaf clover, and out I went.
Because you're like a little leprechaun.
Oh my God, I know. And I did like 4-leaf clovers back in the day, but there was no. I think I literally turned 18, went with my friend Jessica that we talked about in one of the episodes, and walked into a tattoo parlor. Really nice. They were super nice. Got in there. I was thinking it was going to hurt. I was like, oh gosh. Walked in there, got my tattoo, and I was like, well, that wasn't bad. Walked out. I was like, yes, this is great. I love this. But it is like nobody sees it.
Yeah.
Nobody sees it at
I'm
all.
that way. So I have my sister and I went. She actually went first because she always does crazy stuff first. And I have a moon and she has a sun because we're different as night and day. But again, nobody sees it. And that's what I tried to tell Tracy. My little moon is on my hip, and it used to be so nice. And I used to, it used to be so colorful. It was great. And now I don't even see it. So, because, I'm bigger.
No, I don't really see mine either anymore.
Yes. All right.
Yes.
So another fun thing about Tracy.
Yes.
Tracy's in the cutest relationship on the planet.
Oh my gosh. That is a true statement. Yes.
So y'all see that cute side.
Yes.
You don't see how I break out with him like every week. Actually, that's kind of tamed down a little bit. But, so I met Danny, my honey, not long after I divorced.
Yeah.
And so Chase was probably end of 2 going on 3.
Yeah.
And as I shared, he's 20. He'll be 21 in May. And so, he, when you talk about calm, like he is the calm to my crazy. Like really, he is. He very few times does he say no. When I'm trying to do something, absurd, and he's like, okay, whatever you want to do. And he'll tell you guys, he'll say, if she mentions it once or twice, I just have to wrap my mind around the fact it's going to happen.
Right.
And that's
right.
kind of
right.
logic, and that's how we get along.
That's right.
I think people will say, how did you make it so long? Well, we made it because we never wanted to break up at the same time.
Oh,
I mean, that's good. I mean, it is what it is. It's not great wisdom, but it's
And here you are.
And so you have a birthday in January.
I do.
And then what else happens in January?
I am getting married.
Yay!
Yes, we're very excited.
We're so excited for Tracy.
Tell us about that ring, though. So that ring is very special.
It is
has some special meaning.
So this stone, the diamond that's in the ring, belonged to my great-great-grandmother. She got a pair of earrings on her 21st birthday. And so they were passed down to her daughter. And then when she passed away, it passed down to my father. And so I got one, and my sister has one. Mm-hmm. And so my sister immediately went and she was already married, so she put hers in her wedding set, and I just saved mine. And so,
and now it's going to be in your wedding set.
Yes. So exciting.
Yes. So we'll see if we survive the wedding planning stages, because we may not survive that. But
you will. It'll be great.
So we talked about on an episode before dating our spouses.
Yes, we did.
What is yours and Danny's favorite date night?
Yeah.
So I think, as I shared, we had to really kind of reinvent ourselves when Chase left, because our entire world revolved around him, like literally shotgun and football and all the things. And so when he moved, we had to figure out what to do. And I remember sitting there thinking, I don't even know if I like you. Like, I haven't spent any time with you, because our lives are so engrossed in that. So we bought a camper. And
Oh, that's right.
yes,
right,
we
that's
did.
right.
We bought a camper. Again, very much a girly girl. Had never been camping, and we decided one night, well, let's just go and try. So we found this place in North Georgia where you can rent a camper. It's on the river. It's beautiful. I absolutely fell in love with it. I loved it. So we bought a camper, and I think if I had to just pinpoint one thing, it would be that. Like,
Camping.
I love
So
our
sweet.
camping nights. We sit out by the
Aw.
fire. We
Aw.
make a conscious effort not to touch our phones.
Oh,
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
That's
it's
important.
Just to disconnect.
Yes.
9 times out of 10, we're in a place where there's no service.
Mhm. Which makes it even better.
Yeah, you don't really have
that's
a choice.
Exactly right.
But we
Love
just
that.
start a fire and have a cocktail and just do nothing, And I think that's probably our best date night. We love that.
I do too. That's great.
And what's your favorite self-care activity?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was introduced several years ago to a Isden product called Melatonin,
Mm-hmm.
and I love it. Like I change care products all the time. I will never change that. I'll never leave it. It's
Yeah.
a night serum. It just makes your face feel so smooth. It's one of those things that if I don't do it at night before I go to bed, I'll get up and go to the bathroom and put it on my
Ooh,
face. Like
yeah.
it's my thing. I love
Yes.
it. That's probably my best thing.
So
I love it.
good. Very good. So good to have you, Tracy.
Oh, I just enjoyed it
Oh,
so
my
much. And I just have
gosh.
to tell you how proud I am.
Well, thank
I'm
you.
so proud. I listened to your podcast and it just makes my heart happy. I love it. I love y'all so much. So great.
And now you're
Love
part of
you.
it.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
So
And
you've already told us you gave it a
cocktail.
6.
So good.
April, what do you think?
5 here.
Okay.
5.
I'm going to give it a 4.
Oh my gosh. The ratings are officially changing.
I loved the spiced apple cider so much. That's what I want this to taste like.
Didn't we
Hard to
rate that a
find
6?
with it,
I think
huh?
we
Like
did.
I
Me
like the
too.
Baileys.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
the caramel vodka that's in here, but there was just something about that spiced apple cider one that I
Ooh.
love so much, and that's what I want this to
Tracy,
be.
you would like that too.
You'd like it too.
You would like it too.
I'll make it for
Mhm.
breakfast one day for us.
Don't you all want to be with us?
B, what do you give it?
B? What about you?
Okay.
Oh, yes, B.
All right.
Because you have a drink back home. Yeah, that's kind of like this. I can't wait to try that.
All
too.
right. So find us on YouTube at Enjoy the Chaos with April and Sarah. And we're now on Instagram at Enjoy the Chaos Podcast _22.
That's right. And don't forget to like and share us on Facebook at Enjoy the Chaos with April and Sarah.
Y'all have a great week.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks. Cheers.